Hi guys, welcome back to my channel and happy September. That's so crazy to say that it's already September because this year has been flying by so fast. But as we know, with a new month, I have a new favorites video. So for today, we are going to talk about my favorites of August. So for the month of August, I had 3 matcha powders and 1 hojicha powder. So we can start with the hojicha. This is Mellow Matcha's premium dark roast hojicha. And I'm pretty sure I've included this one in previous favorites videos, but I have been recently, again, using this one a lot more in the month of August just because I have been really craving hojicha and I've been gravitating towards this one specifically. So this one is in my chocolate milk category for my hojicha powders and I love this one. It was the first few, I think, that made it onto the list of my chocolate milk because it had a nice like cocoa-y, chocolatey note to it, but it also had like a really nice bitterness to it along with the dark roasted flavor of the hojicha. So I love a good dark roasted hojicha and this has been a favorite of mine in the month of August. Okay, let's get into the matchas. So the first one I have is Hawa Matcha's Ceremonial Uji blend. And first of all, they went through a rebrand of their matcha tins. So this isn't what it looked like before, but I absolutely love the packaging and how sleek and minimal it is. And I just love the aesthetic of like white and like a light green on it, which is what this one is. So love them. You guys have probably heard me talk about Hawa Matcha, but they were my favorite matcha brand of the year of 2024. And I feel like that's a huge thing for me to say because it truly was my favorite matcha brand to come out of the year. I just feel like all of the notes that they had were very unique and I really enjoyed trying every single one of theirs. My favorite of all time is their ceremonial blend. So this one is actually a newer one and it's the ceremonial Uji blend. This one kind of similar to their ceremonial one. It had like some nuttiness to it, but this one was sweeter and it was definitely more creamy along with some like bitterness that resembled dark chocolate. So I just loved this one. I went through it so fast. This is an empty tin, unfortunately, but so good. I savored every last drop of this just because it was that good. And I love, again, all those notes. I feel like it's so intentional with how they make their matcha and how they pick what they want and where they want it from, and you can tell in how they produce the matcha and like what you experience in it. So this is another one that I absolutely loved every aspect of it. So good. Okay, next up we have Hayashiya's Daichi matcha. And this one, I actually talked about it in my Amazon matcha review that I just posted recently. And this is the one that really took me by surprise because, again, I said I shouldn't have judged it based off the color. But I did before I tried it, which learn from me, don't do that. But I just took a glance at the powder's color and I kind of made like an assumption that it would be bitter and that it would just lean more on the bitter side. So I was kind of just already making like assumptions on it, but it's actually the quite opposite of my assumptions. And typically like organic matcha powder does have like a less vibrant color because of the pesticides, I think. So this is Kyo Hayashiya's first organic matcha that they came out with, and Kyo Hayashiya is another matcha brand of mine I talk about all the time because I truly love every single one of their powders, and they have done it again. This one is delicious despite the color of it, and also the color wasn't like super bad. It has like it's just like a little bit duller. I know the camera kind of makes it a little bit more vibrant, but in person, it's like a little bit leaning on the yellow-green side and not super vibrant. But again, it's not a bad color. I'm just being very specific with what I see for you guys. But yeah, the color had nothing to do with it. It was delicious. It was actually quite smooth and creamy. It was nice and light and refreshing. And I think it's one that just took me by surprise because of my assumption of how it was going to taste. Just because I've had experiences in the past with other matchas that had that type of color and were typically bitter. But I'm really happy to say that this one was not what I expected in the best way possible and took me by surprise. So I think that's why I actually really enjoyed it. And I think it makes like such a good beginner and daily matcha. All right. And lastly, but certainly not least, we have RYEA matcha. And you guys already sold this matcha out from when I posted about it on the Amazon matcha favorites. But it was so funny. I got a comment on the video and someone was like, I thought you were crying in the first clip when I was talking about this matcha. I wasn't crying, but I was very overwhelmed by just how good this matcha powder was. And it's one of my favorites that I've ever found on Amazon now because of the nuttiness of it. And specifically, it tasted like kinako, which I love kinako because there's like nuttiness notes, but when it's like very specific to like that kinako profile, I absolutely love, and it's a win in my book. And it immediately becomes one of my favorite tasting matcha powders. So this one was that. But on top of that, it was very sweet and creamy. And what got me was the note of the kinako lasted such a long time, like on my tongue, that I felt like it lingered for quite a while. So it was also a really nice experience to have like a long lasting kinako note with every sip that I took. And with that, that was all of my favorites for the month of August. I will see you guys in September. Bye.